I think by now we've all probably seen internet historians, the sinking of Concordia. I think that's his most viewed video. I had already seen it, so I couldn't do an actual reaction to it. I've seen it, and it was a horrifying story. It's been probably 6 months-ish since I've seen it, if that, or something along those lines. It's been a while, but Fascinating Horror did a video on it as well. So I wanted to check it out, see if there was any new developments or anything like that. So here we are. Make sure you guys check out the original. It's linked below. Let's jump in.
On the 13th of January 2012, passengers on board the luxury cruise ship, the Costa Concordia, were dismayed to feel a violent shudder run through the vessel. Glasses
God, it's
fell,
so fucking insane.
plates tumbled to the floor. Waiters stumbled. A moment later, the lights...
That's also another part that I always forget about. It is insane to me that there's actual, like, we hear about sinkings and whatnot of, like, when we hear about a ship sinking, more than likely you're going to think of the Titanic and think of the movies, but there's no real way to really conceptualize what actually went down. Whereas with this is probably, like, fairly close to the Titanic, I would say, kind of. And there's actual video footage of what was going down when this happened. It's insane to me.
Went out and then slowly came back on again. Something was wrong. Many passengers were sure of it. All the more so when they felt a slight tilt to the deck beneath their feet. But
miss me with that bullshit.
Loudspeaker announcements insisted that it was simply a power failure, a minor incident. This would later turn out not only to be untrue, but to be...
I'm sorry, I ain't believing that shit. If I feel a list, if I hear shudder, lights go out and come back on, and I start to feel tilting, I ain't believing that shit. I ain't believing that at all.
Be a deliberate lie.
It is a fucking deliberate lie. I don't fucking trust people.
The Costa Concordia was completed in 2005 in an Italian shipyard and entered service a year later with Costa Cruises.
Wait, so 2006? It was only 6 years old? That's a fucking brand new fucking...
At that time, it was the largest cruise ship in Italy.
That's brand new
290
shit.
meters or 951 feet long, with 17 decks and space for up to 4,880 passengers and crew. The interior, at least on the 13 decks that were open to the public, was decadent and luxurious. There were 1,500 cabins across several decks, along with 13 different bars, 6 restaurants, a theatre that spanned 3 decks, and a spa that spanned 2. There was also a casino, a disco, multiple lounges, an internet cafe, and a grand central atrium that cut through 9 decks. This truly impressive ship was launched with much ceremony.
God, it really
in
is fucking
2006.
impressive.
Although, when, as per tradition, a bottle of champagne was smashed against the hull, it failed to break. This was something that some sailors would typically...
I think he's about to mention it. I was gonna say, isn't that considered bad luck when it comes to ships? I'm pretty sure that's considered bad luck.
regard as a grave ill omen.
Yeah.
Despite this, the ship avoided any major problems during its first few years of service. It sustained some damage after colliding with a dock in 2008, but was soon repaired and back to its usual work of carrying passengers on luxury cruises around the Mediterranean. On the 13th of January 2012, the Costa Concordia was on the second day of one such cruise. It departed from the Italian port of Civitavecchia, close to Rome. Around 3,200 passengers, many of whom had just boarded that day, were joined by around 1,000 crew for a 7-day circular cruise. At the helm was 52-year-old Captain Francesco Schettino, a man...
God, this fucking guy. I don't remember much about Internet Historian's video, but honestly, I probably remember more than I actually think I do. But I do remember, fuck this dude. This dude's a shitbag.
who had started with Costa Cruises in 2002 as a safety officer and worked his way up to the role of captain. The 13th for Captain Schettino began peacefully enough. He went to dinner with his companion Dominika Samortan, a 25-year-old dancer with whom he was having an extramarital affair.
Like
After
I said,
dining,
not
the
even
pair
just
went
that,
up to
but
the bridge,
bastard.
where Schettino would oversee a sail-by salute. Such salutes were commonplace on Costa Cruises and usually involved steering the ship close to land to provide a dramatic display both for passengers and for people on shore. On this day, however, a miscommunication took place between Captain Schettino and the helmsman, a miscommunication exacerbated by a language barrier between them. This caused the ship to be steered far closer to the island of Giglio than it should have been.
Oh,
Captain
that's
Schettino, who was
okay. I don't think Internet Historian actually showed the actual route taken. So that's the route it should have taken. Oh, that's so much. Holy shit. That is such a deviated path. What the fuck? Holy shit.
by sight and may also have been distracted by a phone call at the time, did not at first notice the error. When he did realize just how close to the rocky island shore they had strayed, he ordered a last-minute turn, but it was far too late. The Costa Concordia hit a rock, which ripped a jagged hole in her side, penetrating.
Holy, I've never actually, I don't think I've actually seen the fucking actual gash. That is a huge fucking gash. Holy shit. Is that rock? Or is that part of the ship itself? Like, I can't tell if, I'm not sure if that's rock or not. This looks like rock, like the rock got legit just jammed into it.
5 watertight compartments. At 9:42 p.m., passengers felt a violent shudder and heard a screeching groan. Some survivors would later liken it to an earthquake.
Nah, miss me with that bullshit.
Fell, chairs and tables toppled. In the dining room, the song My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion, best known for its inclusion in the soundtrack to the film Titanic, happened to be playing as
that is such a weird fucking coincidence. And that is insane that on a cruise ship you're playing that. You're playing a song from a movie about another cruise ship that is super famous for going down and sinking and killing over, I think it's like over half of its passengers, I want to say. Killing so many, a huge fucking disaster. And you're playing, like, that's insane to me.
Waiters dropped trays and plates cascaded onto the floor. Lights throughout the ship went out, plunging passengers into darkness for almost a minute until the emergency power supply came online and lighting was restored. Though emergency generators could power lights and critical systems on board the ship, flooded engine compartments meant that the Costa Concordia could no longer be steered. She drifted, completing a 180-degree turn and moving slowly back towards shore. She would soon ground herself on rocks not far from those that had ripped a hole in her hull. As the ship drifted, the Italian Coast Guard started receiving calls from panicked passengers. One of the first calls came third hand. A passenger had called a family member, who had called the police, who had called the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard made direct contact with the Costa Concordia, but were told that the ship was only experiencing a power failure, that there was no emergency, and that all that was needed was a single tugboat to get them back to port.
That's not true.
This was untrue. On the bridge, Captain Schettino
Why fucking
was aware
lie
that
about
water
this?
was flooding into the ship, but was also in denial over what had happened, and desperate not to cause a panic.
Fuck
Hoping
this
that the
dude.
situation might still be salvageable, he made a deliberate decision to delay informing the Coast Guard and delay the evacuation of the ship. Because of this, it was 10:46 p.m., more than an hour after the collision, before a concerted Coast Guard response began. Meanwhile, on board the Costa Concordia, the ship's lift
I honestly don't know how many like I'm trying to think. I don't know how many stories I fucking heard where more people could have survived if help had actually just been able to get there sooner. Like, what was the one video I watched that really fucking upset me? Trying to remember. Was it through Fascinating Horror? It might have been. Let me check. Wasn't Air France. Wasn't that one? Who did it? Was it? It was the Japan flight. God, I cannot remember when I did it. It's been a hot minute. Let me see if I can find the video really quick. Wasn't One Bad Weld. Oh, it was by Nexpo. That's what it was. Flight 123 from Japan. That one. It makes me think of that. Because, like, dude, it could have been easy. It's an easy fucking fix. But it just doesn't happen.
It was becoming more and more severe. Passengers were confused about where to go. Many had boarded just that morning, and there had not yet been a lifeboat drill. Even those who found their way to their muster stations were told firmly and repeatedly to return to their cabins and put away life jackets.
You can fuck off with that fucking bullshit.
They were told.
I get that's probably what they were told, but I ain't listening to you. I'm standing here until I know for absolute fucking certainty. Okay? I don't mess with that shit.
But it was not only a power failure. The ship was sinking. Finally, at just before 11 p.m., the Costa Concordia had run aground. At this point,
so another shutter would have gone through, right?
The order was given to abandon ship. But this was no simple task.
Yeah, a little fucking late, don't you think?
Meant that any lifeboats on one side of the ship were unusable. There were
oh, great. So there goes half of our fucking lifeboats.
Places on the lifeboats that remained. In places, calls were made to prioritize women and children, an old seafaring custom. However, this only caused more confusion among passengers, as it resulted in the separation of groups. Elsewhere, crew loaded lifeboats only to find that they didn't know how to safely lower them. They were forced simply to unload them again. Fearing that the unstable ship might roll all the way over.
Wait, so they didn't even know how to... Let me go back.
Only to find that they didn't know how to safely lower them.
What do you mean? Were you not taught how to? Or was it just like, because... I can't remember the video. Or was it because the ship was leaning and so... I don't know.
They were forced simply to unload them again. Fearing that the unstable ship might roll all the way over, many jumped into the water and swam to shore. The list of the ship caused others to fall.
I mean, fuck it, might as well at that point.
To swim. 71-year-old Francis Servel and his wife, 61-year-old Nicole, had one life jacket between them. Francis insisted that his wife take it, as she could not swim. The pair jumped into the water. Nicole made it to the nearby rocks. Francis did not, and passed away in the water.
Oh, no. Oh, that's so fucking bad. I don't think you understand. I legit do not remember parts of the video from it. And oh, God. The second it said, he said, They had one life jacket between them, and they jumped in. Oh, that's so fucked. Oh, that is so fucky. I'm raining down hellfire.
Lifeboats were so few in number that those in use were ferrying passengers to shore and then returning to the wreck to pick up more survivors.
I mean, hey, at least they're fucking coming back.
To ride out to the stranded ship. In this fashion, Giglio's deputy mayor, Mario Pellegrini, boarded the Costa Concordia.
Ballsy as fuck to this dude.
Who told him that nobody was in charge. With no other resort, Mario began assisting with the evacuation himself.
Good guy, Mario.
At midnight,
good guy.
The ship shifted on the rocks, tilting dramatically onto its side. Many people fell. Decks
it doesn't surprise me.
Slides.
Like, look at that.
Became vertical shafts. Water flooded in as half the ship was submerged, rushing through rooms and corridors. When helicopters began arriving on scene soon thereafter, it was to see hundreds of people gathered on the side of the overturned ship, converging on a single tenuous rope ladder laid over the hull. This, for many of those left stranded on board, was the only safe way down to the numerous boats now waiting to rescue them. Slowly, painstakingly, survivors made...
I got it. How... Oh, damn, look at that raft. Yeah, no, look, it happened so quickly. This raft just is on the... Oof. Okay. I gotta know how dangerous... So they were up here, and they were all climbing down this ladder to get to the water. I'm more likely going to get wet anyway. How dangerous do you think it'd be to slide down this? Like, how actually dangerous do you think it'd be? Would it be worth it or no?
Made their way down the ladder, or were plucked from the hull by helicopters. They were ferried to land, where they were quickly accommodated in hotels and in the homes of local residents.
Hats off to the fucking locals for actually opening up their, like... Bad shit happened here. Y'all, come in. Y'all can stay with us. Like, hats off to y'all.
Mario Pellegrini, Giglio's deputy mayor, who had travelled out to the wreck voluntarily, helped rescue several people trapped in a partially flooded corridor that had become a vertical shaft.
Oh, I didn't remember that. He
coordinated the crowd around the single rope ladder leading down to the water. Hundreds of people...
Homie built to be a fucking leader. Yo, I'm not even supposed to be on this ship, but I'm taking a boat out there, figuring out what the fuck's going on. Oh, no one's in charge? Cool. I am now in charge. So in that sense, I'm going to help these people out really quick, get them out of this, get them untrapped in this corridor. Everyone, single file, stay calm down this fucking ladder. You're all getting to safety. What a beast. That's a fucking leader.
Used this ladder to evacuate, and though the hull of the ship was cold and slippery with spilled fuel, nobody fell.
That's right.
During
I didn't even think about the fucking fuel aspect of it.
The entire operation.
Good.
Mario Pellegrini and a doctor he had been working with were among the last to leave the ship of their own accord. They were ferried to land and went directly to a bar for a much-needed drink.
Don't blame him.
One person notable for his absence throughout this time was Captain Schettino.
God.
He was eventually found on the rocks.
Homie looks like a fucking little weasel.
On the shore of Giglio, watching the rescue operation from a distance. He explained that when the ship rolled over, he had been thrown onto the roof of a lifeboat and had thus come to shore to coordinate the rescue from there.
Oh, really? Because ain't no one heard from you.
Was called by the Coast Guard and asked, then ordered to return to the ship. He vacillated, saying that it was too dark.
I love that. I'm not going because the other lifeboat is stopped. You go aboard. It is an order. Don't make any more excuses. You have declared abandoned ship. Now I'm in charge. You go on board. Is that clear? Do you hear me? Go and call me when you're on aboard. My air rescue crew is there. Where are your rescuers? My air rescue is on the prow. Go. There are already bodies. Schettino.
See what was happening. Despite vigorous encouragement from a naval officer with the Coast Guard, Captain Schettino
go on board.
did
I
not
think this said
return to the
bastard.
ship. He ultimately took a taxi to a nearby hotel, asking the driver only where he could purchase new socks, as the ones he was wearing were wet. Even after the immediate rescue
The
was
fact
over,
that it's a
the search
the fact that taxi is running is insane to me, by the way.
continued. Some survivors were found long after the situation seemed hopeless. A newlywed couple were found safe in their stateroom. They had slept through the disaster and then awoken to find their door jammed. They were rescued.
That's fucking scary. Like, that is actually insanely fucking scary. Yeah, smiling because you fucking survived. That is insanely fucking scary to think about. Sleeping through, like, goddamn heavy fucking sleepers. They must have wore themselves out. But just to wake up, more than likely thrown from your bed, unable to get out of your room. Like, that is insane. That is scary as shit.
Cold but uninjured. The last to be rescued was 57-year-old hotel director Manrico Giampadroni. He had stayed on the ship after it overturned in order to assist passengers, but had then fallen through a doorway into a partially flooded restaurant, breaking his leg in the process.
What a fucking guy.
After hauling himself onto a section of wall above the water, he sustained himself by drinking a bottle of cognac, and was eventually located and rescued a full day after the sinking.
Such a fucking, so much better than the actual fucking captain. Like, no, my job is to fucking help people. I'm gonna help them. What a fucking guy.
He was the last to be found alive.
Oh.
In total, 32 people had died. Many had drowned after becoming trapped when the ship turned over. Others had succumbed to hypothermia, or died after falling or jumping into the water. Some of the dead had been trapped in elevators, and others had returned to their cabins during the sinking to
like they were probably instructed to do.
Retrieve valuable possessions or vital medications. Then
shouldn't have done that.
Trapped there.
Unfortunately, it's kind of like a house fire. You don't grab anything, you go.
In the course of the search, many holes were cut into the wreckage to allow divers to access different areas of the overturned ship. The wreck lay so close to the coast of Giglio that it presented an unwelcome spectacle for the island's residents. Over the many months it lay there, it was the subject of much protest.
Yeah, understandable. You don't want to fucking see the wreckage of a fucking not even natural, of a tragedy just off the fucking shore of your home.
It obstructed shipping, was a constant reminder of a terrible tragedy, and also attracted looters who travelled out to the ship.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that was a thing.
Whatever valuables they could find. Eventually, the Costa Concordia was righted using massive ballast tanks and a specially built metal structure. It was towed, broken down, and scrapped. Surviving passengers were offered compensation equivalent to around $14,000 by the cruise line, and many had to pursue civil suits against the company.
As they fucking deserve to. 14 grand for all this shit that went on. What about the people who died? Like, what?
In order to be awarded more. Ultimately, it was decided that the company had no criminal responsibility for what had happened. Several individuals were charged and convicted of crimes including negligence. By far, the most blame was placed on Captain Schettino.
Yeah, fuck this dude.
Although many other crew had been present, in many cases the final decision had ultimately been his. To perform the sail by salute, to delay the evacuation, to not inform the Coast Guard, to leave the ship prematurely, to fail to return when challenged. He was sentenced to 16 years in jail, and his career as a captain was over.
I'm sorry, bro. 32 people dead because of your decisions, and 16 years. That's it. 6 months per person. That's all you fucking got? Nah, you should be rotting in there for the rest of your fucking life. Fucking insane to me.
He had intended to dazzle islanders with an unusually close salute, but instead had left them with one of the largest shipwrecks.
Wasn't even the islanders, if I remember correctly. He was trying to fucking show off to The fucking dancer chick he was fucking
in the world.
God, I need to check out more of his shit. He's so fucking good. I love Fascinating Horror. Wow, that was Fascinating Horror Concordia. That was a good one. I really enjoyed that video. Definitely cut down on a bunch of shit compared to Internet Historian, but still honestly really good. Definitely check him out. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, you guys take care of yourselves. See ya.